All right, man. Fucking Liberty Chats. We got about a good fucking 45 minutes left on this drive. 40 minutes left on this drive. So let's get to this, man. So fucking so the weekend or the ultra MAGA shooter fucking at the 4th of July fucking parade in ultra MAGA country known as fucking Highland Park, a suburb of Chicago. What you got to say about that, man?
I think that it's a legit, even if like the people are claiming that the photo of him with a tattoo that says Democratic Socialist is not real, that it's really not him or what have you. But even if you look at his mugshot, I mean, you don't want to be a judgmental douche, but at the same time, dude, you can look at that guy for 5 seconds and realize that that's not a conservative, that's not a Republican.
You clearly see the libtardation in him. You know?
Yeah.
As someone that does tattoos also, man, I gotta say, dude, that color saturation was quite in there, man. That's some pretty solid fucking work, you know. Like, that shit looks pretty damn fresh, you know. Definitely doesn't look no fucking. How old did they say the picture was?
Well, the one with the Democratic tattoo, they're saying that he would have been 14, so it's like a decade old.
Yeah.
You know, of what they're claiming.
Is that the fucking like flower shit that was on his neck or what?
As far as I know, the tattoo legitimately said Democratic Socialist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, and the ones with the flowers and stuff, I believe that's like his actual mugshot. Like his, the one that's proven to be him, basically. So.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts, man. Fucking salty this morning, or fucking not salty. I'm fucking Sticks. Fucking talking about, who could grow a beard at 14?
Yeah. I mean, like we both said, both of us had beards at 14.
Right.
That's definitely not evidence of identification. That's
Right. It sounds more like a personal issue, right?
Yeah. Not enough testosterone in the fam bam.
Right. Fucking. So fucking. What you think about fucking inflation, man? Fucking, do you think you think Circle K fucking workers are gouging you at the pumps?
Absolutely not. I think it's the federal government, the states, and of course, the policies of Biden, because people don't realize commodities are sold on basically futures,
Right.
predictions of what it's going to be, and so they purchase it at that rate to lock it in.
But my TV told me that these gas prices you're seeing is largely the fault of Vladimir Putin. I'll even play the clip in this fucking thing when I love. Yeah, dude, the whole Bidenomics is completely ridiculous, dude. Like, they say he has no control over fucking gas prices and shit like that, but like we were talking about, I think like last week or something like that. Like, if he hadn't shut down the Keystone Pipeline, we would not only be fucking like doing okay, we would be fucking sitting on top of the world. Your fucking sanctions with Russia would actually work because Germany would not be the #1 fucking buyer of fucking Russian oil. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, like if anything, fucking everyone would just be buying our fucking oil and shit, And in which case, like I said, the ruble wouldn't be at its fucking highest fucking level in years and shit, Like fucking the fucking Russian oil wouldn't be fucking getting exported out the back door like fucking I don't know, like fucking crack at a fucking crack shack or something, Like,
it also tells you what a farce their whole green energy agenda is, because Germany was supposed to be the leader in the world as far as sustainable energy and whatnot, whatever they call it that day. And you see, when it comes down to it, they need fossil fuels, petrol. I mean, they need natural gas. I mean, and they're so relying on another country to provide it for you is not going green.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, okay, you could open up a nuclear power plant in my neighbor's backyard, but it's not in my backyard, so I would be safe from the fallout. Like, no, it doesn't happen like that.
Like the whole fucking thing about with fucking like China's fucking carbon emissions and shit, Like fucking everyone's bitching about fucking our fucking carbon emission in America and shit, but don't we have like fucking some of the lowest carbon emissions out there and shit?
In reality, in the last 10 years, we've cut our carbon by 50%, to the extent that the UN themselves said that America has no need for the Paris Climate Accord because we've already done more than those other nations have thus far. Not to mention, we would be paying the higher tab. So it would be us basically subsidizing other countries to go green when we've already done more to cut our emissions and carbon footprint than they have. Right. So, I mean, and then you have the developing nations, and that's where everybody wants their labor from, obviously, because it's dirt cheap. But those are actually the most polluting places in the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, and they're not saying anything about those places because, one, it's emerging, they're cutting deals. Two, they're saving millions, billions of dollars on labor and resources. Right. So it's a huge farce. I mean, all of it. I mean, there's no way at this point in time that they could take us off petrol.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely no way.
And at the same time, if they are trying to take us completely off, fucking fossil fuels and get us onto this whole fucking, electric vehicles and shit like that, wouldn't it be a far better idea to fucking use just, I guess, until we get to the point where fucking, like say fucking Chevy, Ford, fucking GM, all these fucking, vehicle makers, they all have fucking, electric vehicles now, within the last, like 2 years and shit. They've refined their fucking electric vehicles and shit like that to where basically they're almost on par with Tesla and stuff like that. Basically, fucking, we're getting to that point, but we are not even close to ready to completely cut out fossil fuels. That being said, fucking, while we're getting to that point, why don't we use up the last of those fucking, fossil fuels that we still have? Not our fucking reserves. Not our fucking reserves, all right? The rest of the shit that we have in fucking Alaska and shit, the shit that's still in the fucking ground, Why aren't we using up that and then, like I said, fucking, we'll be able to fucking sell our oil all over the fucking world and shit, especially during this time while we're sanctioning Russia. It'll fucking boost our fucking economy, help us get us out of this fucking, extreme inflation funk that we're in right now. And then, shit, maybe the fucking people will actually have money to be able to buy electric vehicles. And in which case we could start phasing out fucking fossil fuels, which either way, you and me fucking both know the whole fucking climate change shit's a goddamn fucking hoax and just a way to fucking give you these sweeping regulations and allow the EPA to fucking make fucking laws and fucking policy and shit like that, But still, if that's what they really want, that seems like a fucking viable plan to fucking get that done without completely destroying the entire economy in the process.
A few things I'll touch on there is, one is, every expert that you hear talk about, the current form of electric vehicles, there's not enough resources on the planet for everybody to drive electric vehicles.
True, good point.
And then you have, what are you going to do with the batteries when they die? The disposal's an issue.
Right.
Then on top of that, a replacement battery is right around $10,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then batteries don't create energy, they store it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it all seems like it leads back to the same dead end of, pollution, resource gouging, resource draining from other, weaker countries, so on and so on. It's just it's the same thing, just using a different resources.
Right.
I mean, it's I don't know. I really don't have a lot of positive things to say as far as that's concerned when it comes to the electric vehicles and whatnot. Because while they are cool, I'm sure they do save somewhat. I mean, they got to be charged on what?
Right, exactly. And especially with how great fucking all these power grids are doing, like you say, fucking here in Arizona and shit. I'm sure you fucking just take one fucking swipe through Facebook and you're gonna see fucking that the Arizona government is fucking subsidizing fucking you to get fucking solar and shit. They'll pay for you to get solar, which if you actually look into it, they'll pay. It's not that they'll pay for it. It's they'll do a zero down payment. Which is completely fucking ridiculous. Basically they're just gonna fucking take off your first payment and then you gotta fucking do the payments yourself. So basically they'll get you locked into the contract for free, and then they'll leave you with the bill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just fucking we see that clearly. They're citing the reason that they need to do this is because they have a failing power grid that can't support the population and shit right now, and so fucking basically that's why they're trying to offset some of it with fucking solar and shit like that. So as we see, like in Texas and shit like that, fucking when all these fucking when weather doesn't allow it and shit, the shit hits the fan, like we saw in 2021 with the freeze in Texas and shit like that, and fucking, so if anything, we need a fucking much stronger power grid before we could start completely transferring into electric vehicles and shit. Like I say, dude, the complete, because these electric vehicles are going to be charged with fucking fossil fuels and all these fucking, you know, the so-called not green fuels, which I would say fucking, if they want to bitch about green fuels, switch to fucking, you know, nuclear energy and shit, you know?
Yeah.
That'll fucking power these electric vehicles, but no, that's bad too, according to them. So, yeah, fucking, like I said, fucking, it's all just a fucking, it's a ruse, a sham, you know, like fucking, it's all just a bunch of fucking bullshit, but still, they fucking make these great sounding fucking policies, but they don't ever seem to think about the consequences, or they only look at one aspect of it and say, great, cool, we can sell the public on that, you know, but they don't think, you know, I mean, I'm sure they're thinking with their policies, they're thinking fucking 10 steps ahead, but as per the, you know, what their policies are going to bring about, they don't think ahead, you know,
right? The implementation and whatnot.
Yeah,
and then on top of that, obviously, you know, we're here in Arizona. It's hot as all hell. And last week it was storming. My house, you've seen, it's covered in solar panels.
Yep.
You know, obviously Arizona would be a good place to have that, right?
Yep.
It's not like it's any insulation or anything from the power grid, though. Like, it was storming all last week. I mean, you know, power goes out. I mean, I was without power just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, having solar panels, the only thing it does basically is save you on your power bill.
Yeah.
You're still hooked into the grid. You're still paying a bill, even if you're producing more energy than you're using. It's not like it used to be where you know, they pay you for the extra energy.
Yeah.
Like, you're still going to get a bill.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they found a way to drain you no matter what you do.
Oh yeah. Basically, what they're doing is they're taking away, you know, you having to pay the fucking the power plants and shit, and they're making it so you have to pay these solar people, because basically your monthly payments on these solar panel installations are roughly, if not more, than what you would be paying in your electric bill.
Yeah.
And you're usually locked into these fucking things for about like 10 to 20 years.
And then you still get a bill from the power company, like I was saying.
Yeah.
You still get a bill, and like I said, even if you produce more energy than you used, they're still going to bill you because you're using their equipment.
Yep. So I mean, we see it's not, you know, economically sound. It's not fucking, you know, viability, you know, usably sound and shit. You know, like,
right.
It's not like we could fucking call upon fucking, you know, this whole green and fucking, you know, nature controlled energies fucking, you know, at a moment's notice and shit, like we could with fucking fossil fuels or like coal or, you know, shit like that even, you know.
And do you notice, like, you keep hearing about these new solar technologies? Like, there was a point where they were talking about solar roof tiles, solar windows.
You see tons of them. They have like solar fucking sunshades and shit.
Mm-hmm. But yet, at houses and everything, what do you see? Panels.
Right.
I mean, when they came to do my house, there was no offer of, hey, would you like solar roof tiles or solar windows? It was,
right.
Hey, we got these kind of panels.
Yeah.
Like, where's all this other technology that's supposed to be using less resources or less valuable resources?
Right.
You know?
Fucking, I don't know, man. Like I say, fucking, I guess maybe it's, you know, just fucking they're developing them slowly over time, because you do see a lot of those stuff. It's like, would you like to be one of the first people to try this, you know, this new fucking type of thing? You know, it's like, sign up to be, you know, basically to be like fucking trial members and shit like that, or like basically like fucking guinea pigs for this, you know, these new panels and shit like that, which basically to me, you know, just kind of shows that they probably don't work very good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and I understand, you know, the slow development, the rollout, them working out kinks and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I know, for instance, the solar roof tiles, like the first time I read about those, it was at least 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And if you can't roll out a product in that amount of time, and think about how much work and research went into it before you were even able to see a prototype or read about it.
Right.
You know, and then add 7 years onto that, and they're still not rolled out. Obviously, it's not a viable product.
Right. Shit, maybe you should get the FDA to roll them out.
Operation Lightspeed, dude.
Right. Don't ban us, YouTube. Oh man, fucking good shit. Fucking so. What do you think about fucking? I don't remember if it was his remarks after like the G7 summit is one of the fucking things over this last weekend and stuff like that, where Biden was talking about you know, bringing in I think it's like Sweden and Finland into fucking NATO and shit, and he's talking about like, oh, you know, NATO's gonna be strong, you know, and people are gonna be paying 2%. Everyone's gonna pay 2%. Like that's what, you know, that's what it's always supposed to have been, but you know, nobody has done, you know, and he's trying to say, oh, people are gonna pay 2%. No, they're fucking not, dude.
Yeah.
No, they're not. That's what it's always supposed to have been, dude. Like, no, he's even trying to say, oh, people are going to be paying more than 2%. Some nations are. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, yeah. They're going to rely on, you know, the muscle of the world to take care of them, just like everybody else does. That's the reason we have, you know, over 900 bases worldwide. I mean, there's so many countries that, you know, they're used as examples for economics. Like, look at how they roll out these social programs, but they can do that solely because they depend on us for their defense.
Right. Like, fucking, you know, everyone has free internet and shit like that, and all these other fucking, you know, socialist fucking nations and shit like that. But then again, like, if they had to actually pay into their defense and shit, they wouldn't be able to do that shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's fucking, you know, whenever the big bad wolf comes knocking, all you gotta do is go fucking ask old Pimp Daddy America to fucking come save your ass, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here comes Uncle Sam with a blank check.
Right?
Because guess what? Uncle Sam ain't paying it.
Right.
You are.
And all these motherfuckers, like I say, it seems to me, you know, maybe, you know, here we go, conspiracy time and shit like that. But it seems to me like fucking, like Biden is, you know, intentionally destroying the economy and, you know, basically the United States of America. And these, you know, I've been watching all kinds of fucking, you know, like, you know, YouTube documentaries and shit like that about when nations fall and shit like that, and like, you know, like basically the lead nations and shit like that, and they're predicting that fucking, you know, America's gonna fucking become secondary to fucking China and shit like that. And I feel like Biden's trying to usher that in, like, intentionally, you know?
I think, you know, possibly to an extent you could be right, but I think like he just gave you a glimpse into his mode of thinking here in recent drops. And the worst part about it is a lot of these word drops that he put out, he was in Europe,
liberal war order, like,
but slamming his own country and his own mode of government for the entertainment of these weak-wristed liberals in Europe.
What are you talking about? Joe Biden's the adult in the room. He's going to bring bipartisan. He's going to stop all this fucking polarization. Remember, he promised us that on his campaign.
Right. and just like the other day when he said, you know, you think Americans would rather have, you know, cheaper gas and I guess a higher quality of life than Putin's fist and their foot in Europe? I don't believe it. Like, dude, it doesn't matter what you believe. You're obviously not listening to anybody but the inept idiots that are standing around you that want the end of the United States. They want to rebuild it into a unicorn utopia where everybody suffers the same.
Right.
And, you know, and this guy is at the head of it, unfortunately, but not of his own volition, I believe. I believe that, you know, it's weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just regurgitates or reads whatever he's told to.
Yeah.
Like a good little boy.
Sure. Yeah, pretty much. Like, you're about to die, motherfucker. You want us to keep pumping you full of fucking adrenochrome and fucking lizard fluids? You gotta fucking do exactly what we tell you.
Right. You want us to take care of your so-called Dr. Lizard wife after you're gone?
You want to keep sniffing children?
Yeah. You want a crackhead hunter to stay out of prison? Well, you go ahead and regurgitate this.
Exactly. But is it thinking, yeah, you know, like when you're in college and someone takes a photograph of you in a compromising position, and then, you know, essentially blackmails or mortifies the person.
Yeah, we've all been there. Right? All of us. No, we haven't.
It sounds like a personal issue.
Definitely the repercussions of your personal choices, man.
Right? In the case of your son, that fucking person that took those was a split personality. Blackmailed himself.
Yeah.
The drugs did it.
Right. You got to think when you have those kind of connections, your dad's the second most powerful person on the planet at the time.
Right.
That, you know, giving these people fodder to use against me, that would never happen. Right?
Yeah.
It will never come up. What would make you think that I could just, you know, I could give my laptop away and with personal information on it and it's going to be used against me?
From a time when I was a known fucking deviant.
Right. And I'm sure he's still a deviant.
Right?
He's trying to hide it.
Oh yeah. Dude, he's just fucking locked up in his own fucking like Ricky Morty and shit. He's in his own Froopy land with drugs and fucking hookers and
exactly.
Fucking...
He's I'm sure he's got a Secret Service detail.
Oh yeah.
That's keeping him out of shit.
Yep.
And, you know, making sure that he's not seen while he's ushering around to get crack.
Right. Yeah, right. We got to get someone on this guy, man. He's just totally fucking this campaign up, man. Like, I mean, Biden's doing a good enough job of fucking everything up himself. We don't need his son stepping in to help anymore.
Yeah, it's like Black Sheep.
Right?
Like he's Chris Farley without the comedy.
Right? Except it's not very funny. It's just sad and fucking... This is reality. This is who's running our fucking country. Oh man, it's fucking some rough times we're living in, dude. Like I say,
I'm sorry. I have children, and if one of them turned to prostitutes and a life of crack, I sure would have be blaming myself, because
right.
You know, your children are a direct product of what you raised them to be.
That's not something that goes along with narcissistic personality disorder. It's fucking somebody else's fault, you know. Wrong kid died. Yeah, I watched that movie last night. That shit was great. I'm gonna fucking walk hard. Yeah, fucking. I don't know, man. Fucking, it's the Hunter Biden thing, man. That's got to be a rough thing, a hard pill to swallow as a politician.
I mean, like you said, it's like Black Sheep. I mean, it's a stereotypical thing. Because, you know, like Bill Clinton. I mean, obviously, after the fact, we all found out what a disgusting lizard that guy was.
Yeah.
But during it, in his cult of personality days, when people couldn't get enough of him, and he was the greatest thing ever. Remember, it was about his brother.
Yeah.
His brother's out here on cocaine, you know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, obviously Bill was too. He was just better at hiding it.
Yeah.
But it's always like that. I mean, and then with Bush, it was his daughters. I mean, it's, you know,
mudslinging.
Yeah. They just find a way to crush you. That's why even like, you know, us, for instance, I know I've been asked several times, like, well, how come you don't try to run for office and change things? Because I was a normal young man and did some questionable things as a kid.
Right.
And because of that, I'll be destroyed, my family will be attacked, and so on and so forth. And so, I mean, they try to make it, they're doing it that on purpose, obviously, because they don't want the average guy running for office.
Yep.
They want someone with money, like Obama, that's able to fucking close their personal records from high school on and whatnot.
I wonder if you'd be able to pull like a fucking, like fucking B-Rabbit from 8 Mile. Like fucking, yeah, some motherfucker, this is what I did back in 3rd grade.
You gotta come out like Bill Clinton. Like, I tried it, I smoked, but I didn't in hell.
I smoked methamphetamines. Fuck. Yeah, fucking, shit. Just, obviously for the fact that I'm a convicted felon, I wouldn't be able to fucking run for office and shit like that, but like I say, fucking, I guess that's just this type of shit is the best thing we can do is just fucking, try and wake people's minds up and shit, trying to bring them back to reality, right? Light the spark of liberty, man.
So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about your American president in Europe denigrating our form of government? Like,
like I say, fucking, by definition, Joe Biden is a traitor, to the United States of America. By all fucking definitions, him and his entire family are fucking traitors to the United States of America.
The short is he hasn't taken up arms.
Yeah. But as per fucking selling out his country, fucking, using his fucking political power for his own personal gain and shit like that, using his fucking political power to put his son in positions of power in foreign nations, like, yeah, dude, that's all fucking way beyond fucking reasonable, like that's beyond reasonable impeachment fucking, reasoning,
Yeah, and all his policies thus far have worked out for every other country but us.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, we're going to put sanctions on Russia. The ruble is the highest it's been in, if not ever, at least in decades.
Yeah.
And, I mean, people are paying a premium for their fuel now.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. I mean, everything the dude does, it helps other countries. I mean, even like shutting things down, making more restrictions on manufacturing, trade, and whatnot.
Yeah.
All that's doing is increasing business for China.
And for how long he's been in politics, you know he's not that stupid. You know that he doesn't know. Like, it's not, like I say, it's probably not that they don't fucking see the implications of what their policies are gonna bring about. They know what the fuck it's gonna bring about. They're expecting it and shit. You know.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's part of a fucking agenda. It's not on accident and shit. You know, like it's
planned demolition.
Yeah, like I say, if I can make conspiracy theorists, what the fuck ever, dude. Like, this is not an accident. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it takes junior high level economics to know that if you overprint, overborrow, that you're inflating your money, you're destroying your money.
Right. And I could teach simple supply and demand to my fucking 4-year-old daughter, dude.
Right.
You know? Like,
but yet they want you to believe that the president of the United States, he thought that there wasn't going to be inflation. Then he thought it was going to be transitory. Then he just thought it was going to be, it's only going to be a temporary situation. We'll turn it around real fast. To like, now there's going to be food shortages.
Yep. To now get ready to fucking starve people. Like,
you'd rather have cheaper gas than us fund a dictator in a third world country to fight another dictator?
That's right.
I don't believe it.
Dude, they just sent another $820 million to fucking Ukraine. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's a non-stop money train.
Yep.
I mean, it's a laundering scheme, or it's enrichment of someone that holds something over the bids.
Honestly, dude, like the whole Roe v. Wade fucking push like that right now is because, like we say, most of fucking Americans fucking don't have an issue with fucking abortion to an extent, but at the same time, fucking they're using it to fucking completely divide. They're using it to fucking bring some more people back to their side and shit like that, because they're trying to say that, oh, it's women's rights, we're going to defend women's rights, all this and that and stuff like that. At the same time, like I told you, we're totally all on board with states' rights and shit, but that's what they're trying to use and shit like that. But at the same time, I personally think that people care more about their economic well-being rather than fucking whether or not women can fucking abort children.
Yeah,
I think that's a way bigger issue for the majority of Americans over fucking something, like I say, granted, to some people it may be a big deal,
Yeah, you got your extremists that's going to be a deciding factor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, the vast majority of Americans, it's not that they disagree with abortion or they want to outlaw it. I mean, it's just about, not wanting to kill fully formed human beings.
Yeah.
And we both know that that's actually what pushed it to this point. Because if you didn't have leftists trying to push abortion up until the day of birth, it wouldn't even have gone before the Supreme Court.
Right. Roe v. Wade would have probably fucking been,
still be there.
It's still been a thing in the past,
Yeah, like they did it to themselves. Yeah. I mean, it's like the meme where, they say liberals, and then it says something, and then it says, the after effect and the Pikachu with the mouth open.
Right.
It's fully them. That's their party all the time.
Yep.
Like they always do some stupid shit and act some stupid shit, and then they're surprised when everybody realizes it's stupid shit.
Yeah, like they say, if you're not a young Democrat, you have no heart. If you're not an old, Republican, you have no brains and shit. It's really because, basically, like you say, they don't think things through because they're the party of the morons. Basically, they're the party of the bleeding hearts. They're not the party of fucking. Well, let me think logically about this. They're the party of. No, I'm riled up about something.
Always, you got to find adversity where there is none.
Yep.
Always.
And that's why, the Democratic Party knows this shit too. That's why I say they're fucking narcissists. That lead a fucking clan of fucking victims.
Yeah.
And they got to make sure that people, continue to think that they're victims, so that way they can continue screaming for their party and shit.
That's the old Clower Piven approach, right? The political approach of fear porn and dependence.
Yep.
And until you make them so scared and dependent on the state that you can enact anything that you want without pushback.
Yep. That's like, I don't know about you, man. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a motherfucking free person, dude. I don't need fucking, like I say, fucking. Someone told me oh, you're a convicted felon. You think the GOP fucking is really gonna try and help you out? Like, motherfucker, I ain't trying to have my fucking government help me out. I want my government to leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Like, I want my government to stop trying to fucking help me. Because it doesn't fucking help.
Do what the American experiment was intended, which is a limited government federal-wise, that looks after the health of the entire country as a whole. Like the borders, large land disputes.
Right.
Even taxes were supposed to be for large business owners. They weren't supposed to be for you and I.
Yeah.
That was them making us a corporation and selling us on the stock market, basically. I mean, this is, none of what we're seeing or living today was what you were intended to live or see as a natural-born American. I mean...
So what do you think of left-leaning libertarians? What do you... what are your ideas of a left-leaning libertarian?
Well, I think a left-leaning libertarian is, basically what it says. It's like a socially liberal, still fiscally conservative. To me, if you're not fiscally conservative, you're not really a libertarian. Because we're about sound money and whatnot.
Yep.
But that just means that they lean more towards the left on social issues, as far as social nets or open borders, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Basically, they want the majority of the same thing, but in my personal experience, they will fight you over the smaller things rather than coalesce so we can get more than a 5% share of the votes in this country.
Do you think they're more of like kind of bandwagon libertarians, perhaps? I don't want to offend nobody out there, but do you think they might be kind of like just people that still just want to be political but don't really want to look into the issues and just kind of follow along? Well, like I said, you've been in the the political scene a lot longer than I have. So explain to me and the people out there listening, what was the whole split between the Libertarian Party that went on since that you've seen it?
I mean, since I've been involved personally, it's been to where they tried to go a little more mainstream. So instead of having like obscure candidates or 30-year doctor congressmen that unfortunately are not part of the duopoly and didn't have a chance to win, they tried to go mainstream, brought in like Gary Johnson, who is a great guy. He was a good governor for New Mexico, but some of his ideas are wacky. Like he wants to talk about marijuana legalization over actual issues at certain times, the whole Aleppo incident, and then his running mate, Bill Weld. The guy is a straight Democrat. So that was like let's try to attract disenfranchised leftists from the Democrats.
Right.
And then, so we'll put enough information in these people's head to sway them to at least listen, but at the same time, we'll act like we agree with their tenets. But to me, I mean, obviously, this is just my opinion. I mean, you can't have a country to have liberty and with open borders.
Right.
I mean, we've said this before in a previous conversation. Personal beliefs as far as religion, cultural. I mean, even down to just your personal beliefs, the way you live at home has been the cause of strife throughout history.
Yeah.
So, you can't have open borders and dilute and destroy your own culture and then expect that people are going to have the same ideas and views as you.
Right.
Even as far as liberty is concerned. And statistically, people that come from lower nations, third world nations, they tend to vote big government socialist ideas.
Right.
Even if they don't believe in, the communists, Gestapo, muscle our way through, we know the end result most times that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, I don't support communism, but we'll vote for socialism light.
Right.
It's just the same thing over and over.
Right. Like I say, it's the hybrid is it seems like a kind of hybridization of the two ideals that they try to push. Like they try to push fucking socialist capitalism.
Yeah.
And they try to push fucking let's mix fucking some Keynesian Austrian economics together and fucking see what kind of disastrous results we have. like we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Like, do you need another stimulus?
and people don't pay attention to it for the most part. I mean, even people that now talk about it, if they want, they've had several times the last, election seasons have real change,
Yeah.
to elect someone that's actually going to curtail spending, that's going to curtail taxation,
Right.
and on and on and on. And these people barely get screen time. They don't get to actually speak at most events.
Or they get Ross Perot.
Yeah, their delegates aren't allowed in the count process. I mean, there's so many things that's taken place, and you know, it's funny that people only take notice. Like 2016, oh well, they was cheating with Trump. Oh, 2020, they was cheating with Biden. But you know, I mean, we've seen it live hand literally a decade ago with Ron Paul. I mean, like like I said, his delegates were excluded from the RNC.
Yeah.
How much more evidence do you need than that?
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, like I said, if you wanted real change, they would have been a Paul transitioning from a Paul.
Yeah. Right.
Turn left.
But the lizard people won't have it, man.
Right.
All right. Well, we're almost here, so that was a pretty good show, man.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I think that one's fun for going on the YouTubes and the Rumbles.
Yeah, I think it's. We always have some good ones.
All right, man. Well, you guys take it easy. Peace.
Smoke up. Smell you later.